Welcome to a fantastic slice of Germany, because today we're heading backstage not only for the vote, but also for the shop as well. Because today we're taking a look at this, the first generation Audi R8. This thing's got a whopping 542 horsepower from stock, 398 foot-pounds of torque, while weighing just a shade over 3,680 pounds with a 5.2 litre V10. You can buy it for a Backstage Pass, or spend 3 million on the auction house like I did. Now I've got to say, the Audi R8 is an interesting one, because if we have the camera facing the front of the car, half of it gets cut off by the game screen. Going to the side though, this thing does look pretty cool. You can see a little, I guess, like carbon bit at the side. Going to the back, it does look pretty good indeed, and that little half wing thing above the rear badge is actually active aero. Going to the inside, this is a car from 2013, so there's not really many fancy touchscreens in here aside from maybe one in the center console, and honestly that's about it. We do have ourselves a kind of little, I guess I want to say like a little info screen alongside the gauge cluster, but now let's go ahead and take a listen to this thing. So I've got to say that thing sounded absolutely beautiful, but now let's go ahead and jump over to conversion, jump over to engine swaps and see what we've got. We've only got ourselves one this time, and it is the racing of V12 boasting 750 brake horsepower. If you want, you can also go ahead and make this thing rear wheel drive, which I think we might do a little later on. And if you want to go ahead and slap on some twin turbos, well, I've got good news because you can do that too. And now that leaves us just one extra thing on conversion, and that's this, a body kit for this thing, because if we go over to here, you can see we've got ourselves a brilliant little Liberty Walk kit there, and it looks a bit like, well, a bit like this, to be honest. Not too bad. So got a little bit of, I guess, like over fenders at the side. Nice little front splitter as well. There is a rear wing that does accompany this, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Because we're going to jump straight over to aero and appearance, looking to the front, aside from the body kit wing, we've just got the little Forza splitter here. But going to the rear wing, this is where things get interesting. Because not only do we have the little Liberty Walk wing at the back there, we also have the option for this giant wing, which also extends to, well, the giant wing and a giant roof box as well. Perfect if you want to take a very expensive supercar off-roading. And of course, we can't leave out the good old Forza wing as well. In the meantime, our wonderful mechanic Mac has been very busy putting together a little race tune for us. Let's go ahead and bring up the share code real quick. There it is. Feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourself. We're going to go ahead and do that, download and install, and see what we've got to work with. So with those upgrades, we're now at the top of S1. We've got ourselves just over 100 brake horsepower more than we did from stock, and we weigh just under 3,000 pounds. So this should be fun. So with those upgrades installed, here we are now over at the paint shop. We've got ourselves nothing in advance, which is honestly a little bit of a shame, but going over to manufacturer colours, we've got quite a fair few to choose from. So we've got ourselves a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different colours to choose from for this thing, which is absolutely mad. And you know what? We're going to put this one in orange. Why? Because we can. All we have to do now is wait and age for it to save. Now, unlike most of the other cars I have in this quote car showcase kind of mini-series thing we've got going on here, I have actually gotten a chance to see an Audi R8 in person. I've got to say, it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful car to look at in person, and this game does not do it enough justice. Although to be fair, I've not seen one with a wide body yet, so hopefully that might change this year. And away we go. We've got a little bit of a sunset going on over there, so I'm very glad that I picked a bright colour to race this thing in. We've got plenty of vehicles behind us. We've also got quite a fair few in front of us as well, and our aim is to finish ahead of absolutely all of them. So, you know, no pressure. Now, I've done a little bit of research online as to just how many Audi R8s were made, and apparently throughout their entire lifespan from 2006 all the way up to last year, there are a whopping nearly 46,000. A lot of those ending up in the USA, a lot of them over here in the UK surprisingly, and of course the vast majority in Germany. After all, that's where these were made to start with. Excuse me, out of my way, I will take your place now. Oh, hey, it's R12. Oh hey, now it's my place. Now, if you want one of these in the UK, I've had a look around, and the prices are kind of like all over the place, but the average price of this thing is roughly around £57.3 thousand, which is this in US dollar. And I've got to say, for a car like this, that's really not too bad, especially considering you're getting what I believe is a Lamborghini derived 5.2. Right, one more turn to go, around we go, the finish line is just there, and across the line we go, with the first place miles ahead of everybody else, which is exactly what we wanted, and of course a time of 1 minute 54. Now, I've got to say, what a race indeed, but now it's time to go ahead and go backstage. Not to buy another Audi R8, but to go ahead and take a look at this week's vote. Now, I've got to say, we've got quite the legendary set of cars up here this week, because we've got ourselves the 1995 Ford Mustang and the Unicorn V2 versus the Toyota Tourer from 1997 and the number 64 Nissan Z, which can have upwards of just around 2,000 brake horsepower. and for that reason it's getting my vote. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. Now in the meantime we're going to go from road racing all the way over to drag racing because our mechanic Mac has been very busy throwing together a tune for us. So let's go ahead and bring up the share code. There it is. Feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourself. We're going to go ahead, download and install it and see what we've got to work with. So with all these upgrades we're now looking at £2,882, even lighter than before, with a whopping near 1,200 brake horsepower just inside the top of S1. S1? I meant to say S2. Oh well. Right, here we are now over at the back of the festival, so let's go ahead and see if we get ourselves a wheelie check. Do we get anything? Yes we do. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. To be honest, I don't know what I was expecting, but that was brilliant. Right, here we are now over at the edge of the drag strip. Let's go ahead and pull ourselves right up to the edge just there, get ourselves onto launch control, and away we go. What can we do with this thing? Nearly 1,200 brake horsepower, just a shade under 2,900 pounds in weight. This thing is, well, it's not too bad, I can't lie, but it's not too light either. 192 through the camera, and what do we get off the end of the drag strip? 212, and absolutely zero braking. Oh dear. You know, I should be used to this by now. Right, now it's our turn to go ahead and have ourselves a little bit of fun with this, so we're going to go ahead, jump straight to conversion. We're going to go ahead and throw in the little engine swap there, and of course we're going to go ahead and make this thing twin turboed as well, because the whole aim of this bit is to try and make ourselves a brilliant top speed build, and hopefully I'm going to try and say I think this might just hit 270. Okay, maybe that's a bit too ambitious. Either way, we're definitely slapping on some better tyres. And we're going to go ahead and make them wider at the front, and also going to go ahead and make them wider at the back as well. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and upgrade the gearbox and the driveline as well. Ah, that looks alright. And now I've got to go ahead and try and tune this thing for a top speed build, which, well, considering we've got 7 gears, might turn out to be very interesting indeed. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at this week's Forzathon shop. We've got ourselves the Shelby Cobra 427, a Backstage Pass, the Horizon Colorado t-shirt, the Hennessy Velociraptor 6x6, the Legacy Rewind car horn, which sounds a bit like this. That takes it back a bit, that does. We also have ourselves the Horizon Super Wheel Spin alongside the regular Horizon Wheel Spin. And now, out to the motorway. Right, now it's time for our usual favourite game of how close can we get to the motorway grade. I've managed to ping a little random location for us to fast travel to. Let's go ahead and see, are we close today? The answer is, well, no, we are very far from it. You know, one of those days I'll get there. In the meantime, here we are now at the edge of the motorway, so let's go ahead, get ourselves onto launch control, and away we go. Nearly 1,200 brake horsepower. What can this thing do? I'm hoping for a good result because, well, that'll make me very happy indeed, and hopefully it'll mean the credits I spent on this thing have been worth it. In the meantime, out of the speed zone, 249.31 mile an hour, we are still accelerating and nearly hitting the 260 mark. We've still got a downhill and speed cameras to go, so far, this thing's looking quite promising. But can it keep it up? Let's go find out. Right, there's the camera, 262.74, going downhill, 265, 266, 267. Do we get any more than that? Not quite, sadly, which is honestly a little sad, but oh well. There's a sign on the brakes. We go down through the gears. Let's go ahead and see. Do we get a good stopping distance? Honestly, I don't think that's too bad. If anything, it might be better than some of the other cars we've had. In the meantime, let's go ahead and give this thing one final challenge. In the meantime, let's give this thing a couple extra upgrades. There we go. Although, to be fair, I think I might have gone a slight bit overboard. Either way, it's time to go ahead and take a priceless supercar drifting, because of course that's what we do here. Let's go ahead, chuck this thing into the drift zone and go ahead and see what we get out of the Audi R8. And I've got to say, this thing handles actually surprisingly well as a drift car. I'm kind of impressed, especially with that 40,000 point run, which again is something I wouldn't expect from this thing. Right, here we go for round number 2. 40,421 is the score to beat. Can we do it? I genuinely don't know, but we can go ahead and give this thing all amounts of sideways possible, and out the other side at 40,692. So in fact, yes, we did beat our first score. And I think the crazy thing is, this has beaten a lot of the scores set by other cars we've driven, which if you ask me is absolutely mad. In the meantime though, that's this video on the Audi R8. It can be bought via the auction house or via the Backstage Pass, and I've got to say, I think this car's honestly really underrated. Mostly because everybody else seems to keep going for the newer versions or some of the other hypercars, but honestly, this thing's a lot of fun. And if I remember, the share code for this drift tune should be up on screen. In the meantime though, thank you very much for watching. I'll go ahead and see you all in the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff. And if you've got a car you want me to have a look at in Horizon 5, do go ahead and let me know. In the meantime, thanks for watching, tech out. See ya! Right, what do I drive next?